Are you tired of having past due bills? Are you tired of the collection calls, the texts, the emails? Are you tired of not having enough money because you are paying all this money to the past due bills and you are ready to just get these bills current and move on to other bigger and better things? Well, you've clicked on the right video. In today's video, I am going to be giving you 6 things that you can do to help you to become current on your bills. Now, these 6 steps that I'm going to be providing to you, these are things that I did to help me to become current on my past due bills within, I think it was like 2.5 months. So if that's something that you're here for, just go ahead and keep on watching. If you have clicked on this video because you do have past due bills, I want to first tell you to give yourself grace and know that it is okay. I want to celebrate you for clicking on this video and saying, I'm ready to get my finances in a better place. So I salute you. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to know that the end is in sight. The end of that past due bill is near. But I just wanted to take a moment and celebrate you and let you know that it is just a thing that you can conquer. And I just want to say I am proud of you. So let's get into these steps. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to discover your why. I know that you guys hear this in all these videos. What's your why? Your why, your why, but your why is important. That was the first thing that I had to do. I had to determine, after I got tired of being tired, why I wanted to make this change. The reason for that is because during this journey of you paying up your past due bills, you're gonna have times where you're tired, you're exhausted, you're really wanting to see the end result, which is all of your bills current. And because you have to have patience and it's gonna take a little bit of time, then you have to have your why there because it's going to refuel you and it's going to give you the additional like the juice that you need to keep going. So having that why, it's probably cliche, but it's important. My why on why I wanted to get my life together, okay, and stop playing around, is because I do have future financial goals. I, number one, was tired of the collection calls. I started to get calls from 1-800 numbers and I already knew what it was because I was late on my credit cards, I was late on my mortgage, I was late on a couple of different things, and so I already knew what those calls were about. When you get those calls, it does cause a sense of frustration, and then you start feeling low, and you know, it comes with all these negative emotions. And so I was ready for that to stop. That was one. And then the next thing, I know that in the future I do want to purchase another piece of property, and I can't do that if my credit is bad. And of course, me being late on my credit cards, my credit is taking a hit. And so I thought to myself, okay, I do want to purchase another piece of property, multiple pieces of property. So I got to get my credit back in order. Another thing, I'm ready to furnish my home that I'm in, and I can't do that if I have a lot of money going to past due bills. And it's just irresponsible to not be a good steward of the money that God has blessed me with. So I knew that it was time for me to get back on track, take control of the money that I have, be a good steward of the money that I have, and really make a true change this time. So during those times that I did get discouraged, I took a peek at my why and I was like, okay, I'm utilizing patience and it's gonna take a little bit, but I know at the end of the day, if I do not give up my why, the things that I want to obtain in the future are going to be obtainable. One thing that I always used to say is, will I see the light? Will I see the light? I can't see the light, but the light starts to peek through the doors, I'm telling you, if you don't give up. So make sure that you have your why. Make sure that you have it somewhere front and center so that during those times that you really need to take a peek at it and give yourself a boost of encouragement, your why will 100% do that. The second thing that I had to identify was the root cause of how I even became past due on my bills. The reason for that is because there needs to be a solution in place in order to combat whatever caused me to be past due in the first place. So the reason why I was past due was because I was living my best life. And sometimes the way that I see things, I see them very black and white. Either I'm all in on my budget and I'm not enjoying myself or doing the things that make me happy. I'm just saving money and paying off debt and doing the boring things, right, to me. Or I'm living my very best life and I'm spending all kind of money, buying the things that I love, and then I'm neglecting my bills and things which is important. So because I know that that was the root cause and I'm very black and white, I definitely need some gray. And so I had to learn how to put myself in a gray area, which means that I'm paying my bills and I'm also taking care of my finances responsibly, but then I'm also enjoying myself as well. So that's where certain savings and things go in place so that I can be able to enjoy myself. And then everybody's happy, right? My responsible self is happy, and well, everybody happy, right? I get to pay my bills and be current and do great things financially, but then I also get to enjoy myself, right? Peace of mind is important. Our mental state in these finances are important, right? Because when our money is bad, we can act real funny, honey. We already know. But anyway, you need to get to the root cause of the issue. Like, why are you past due on your bills? And you need to ask yourself that question, and you need to be real with yourself. And then you come up with a solution on how you can combat that. So for me, I wasn't budgeting. I wasn't paying my bills as soon as I got my paycheck. And this is a tried and true system for me that I know works well. So I had to start doing my budget every 2 weeks. And then I also had to check in on my budget. And then I also had to close my budget. I do look at my budget every single day for the most part, especially in the beginning, because I really had to get used to the process again. And then on camera, I did my budgets, I did my 1 week check-in, and then I did my closeout on my budgets, where I think those are very important. Tracking my expenses, writing down every single thing that I was doing and spending my money on. That is how I was able to have a solution to the root cause of how I even became past due on my bills. So I would recommend that you look at the root cause of why you are past due on your bills. If your bills are more than what you're getting paid, then the solution to that is for you to make more money, or to cancel and to get rid of some things and to sell some things. But ultimately, you're going to need to just make more money. The next thing that I did was I had to list all of the bills that I was past due on, coupled with the amount of money that I was past due for that bill. But also I needed to write down in order the list of priority for that particular bill. Some past due bills have a higher priority than other bills that you may be past due on. An example of that for myself, I was past due on my HOA, my electricity, credit cards, and my trash bill, I believe. So looking at the priority, I had to pay off my HOA first because they were looking to put a lien on my house because that bill was a few months past due. And so if I had a certain date that I had to pay it off by, or they would put a lien on my house, yes, I'd be able to get it out, but then I would have to pay the legal fees, which it was going to cost me more money. My electricity bill went all the way down to the last because I was able to put the past due amount on a payment plan. I had credit cards that was kind of just as high as the HOA, but not as high, so that came second, that I had to pay current. Because what was happening was I was getting late fees, and then also it was taking a hit to my credit. And so I wanted to stop the bleeding there and not pay late fees plus additional interest charges for being late. So I would say list all of the bills, how much the actual bill is, the past due amount, and then list the priority and you paying them. Once you do that, The next thing that you need to do is you need to call each and every single company that you are past due with. And you need to have a confession conversation. You need to let them know, hey, I know that I'm past due, but I want to get caught up. So what can I work out with you? The great thing is that they will let you know exactly how much time you need to pay. And then they will also work some things out for you. They may delete some of the past due penalties and fees that you have to pay on certain bills. They may give you a credit for late payments that you may haven't inquired or got on there. They may work out a plan for you so that you can get caught up. They'll ask you how much can you pay, and realistically you'll let them know how much you can comfortably pay, and 9 times out of 10 they'll say okay, and they'll say make sure you have this paid by then. To give you an example of my situation, so I knew that my HOA bill, I needed to pay that bill soon. I had to call because I got a lovely letter in the mail that said, hey, we're about to put a lien on your home because you think we're not important. So I called and I worked out. Really, they didn't work out nothing with me, actually. They was like, you need to pay this and you need to pay it by this date, and it's nothing else we could do for you. And I was like, okay. So that's why they were number 1 on the priority list. However, I did talk to my credit card company, and my credit card company said, we understand life gets tough and we want to work with you. So you need to be on this payment plan where you pay $200 a month. And then after a while, hold on, y'all. So I was able to work out a payment plan with my credit card company. And now my credit card is current, and they didn't cancel me, thank goodness. And then I made a call to my trash company, and they let me know this is how much you have to pay and by what time. So then I was able to prioritize the late bills that I had, and then also the amount that I was able to pay every single month. Now this is the part that gets a little real. So once you know how much money you need to pay to catch your bills up to become current, you know in what priority you need to pay these bills, now you need to do your budget. And when you do your budget, you need to look at everything that you have going out, all of your bills, including your expenses. One thing that can help you is to go into your account, into your checking account, if you have been using your debit card or your credit card, and you want to see how much money you actually have going out. And then you want to see how much money you have coming in. When you take a look at how much money you have going out, you may be able to cancel certain things that are not priority at this time. That's any streaming apps that you might have, any services that you're possibly paying for that you can go without. That would also be decreasing on certain variable expenses that you have. For me, I decrease on my grocery budget, I decrease on my household budget, and I also decrease on my toiletries budget. And I started using the things that I had at home, and I waited until I ran out of them before I went and purchased again. So that's going to be a very important part, because they'll have more money in your budget, able to help you pay these past due bills current. Once you do that exercise, it'll let you know how much money you have to work with in order to pay these bills. Because remember, not only do you have to pay the past due bills to current, you also have current bills that you have to pay as well to keep it current. Once you've made your budget cuts, and you know how much money you have coming in, you're doing your budget every single time that you get paid. That's how I budget, and so that's what I recommend. It's easier for me that way. But however you complete your budget, make sure you're completing it. And then you're gonna put your past due bills in your budget. I was paying on my HOA every single time I got paid. I was paying on my electricity bill once a month because that's when my payment arrangement was due for that. I paid on my credit card bill once a month. So because you already have it prioritized and you already know when you need to make these payments, that's when you'll put those payments in your budget. Sometimes you might be paying 2 times. Like I was paying my electric bill twice in a month. I was paying the current bill, and then I was also paying what I owed on my installment agreement. So doing that budget is going to be important. Checking in on that budget is going to be important. Closing out on your budget is going to be important. Make sure that you're doing all of those things. And then the last thing, if you are able to, I would suggest that you make more money if you can. There are many ways that you can make more money by doing overtime at work if you can, or picking up a side hustle. Something that you enjoy doing or you don't mind doing, or even if you hate it. But the objective is to make more money. You can also sell items in your home. You may have clothes that you're able to sell. You may have a TV that you're able to sell, have a garage sale, so that you can make money, so that you can throw this money on your past due bills. And those are the things that I did. I picked up a side hustle to help me to pay all of my bills current. And really, to be honest, that is it. It probably sounds easier me saying it, but going through the process is not as easy. Make sure that you give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. And know that it is okay. I had to give myself grace so many times. I know that it's frustrating. Trust me. Y'all heard me crying, right? Y'all heard me crying. Y'all heard me. And my numbers were numbering. I was going through it, okay? I have a playlist of budgeting for beginners where I am paying my past due bills. So if you haven't caught those budgeting videos in real life, I'll leave the playlist here for you to check out those videos in real life to actually see me putting that in action. But I'm speaking from experience. That's how I did it, and it worked. And there were some times where I had more bills than money, but I made it work. I prayed. I did not stop giving my tithes because I trust God 100%, and He came through for your girl. That's all I got to say. So I hope that I've answered this question. There were a couple of requests for me to do a dedicated video to past due bills. And so I really hope that this has helped you. But I'm here with you guys, besties. Now we have gotten current, and now we are moving on to paying off our debt. And whew, that is going to be a journey. But I feel a lot better. I feel more empowered. And I feel like the plan is working. But, you know, just make sure you're making those budget cuts. I wasn't getting my hair done. I still ain't getting my hair done. This is Hair Shop Jasmine. That's what this is. But there were a lot of things that I did stop doing and I did take out of my budget. And like, for example, my nails, I was getting my nails done, but I wasn't the one paying for them. And I just said, I'm not going to pay for them until my past due bills are paid to current. So now that they are paid to current, I did put them back into my budget. But just certain things that make me feel good, because along this journey, I think that we get to the point sometime where we're really just throwing our money at debt and trying to, you know, meet our financial goals, that we forget about ourselves. And while we're happy because we're making good strides financially, emotionally, and our mental health is suffering because we're not taking care of ourselves. And ever since the pandemic happened and all that, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, I just realize now how our mental health is important. Like, it's high up there on the list. So you want to always be happy. You want to be happy in every area that you can find that little bit of happiness and peace at. And so for me, finances is one of them. Having financial security is another one of them. And being able to do whatever I want to do is another one of them. That's how I find my peace. Being able to go out to eat if I want to, go to a restaurant, buy a nice bag if I want to, buy shoes, buy clothes. Those things make me happy. Traveling, that stuff makes me happy. And so I had to realize and come to a point where I know that those things can collide. Being in this budgeting journey, in this budgeting world, in the budgeting community, you'll have people who tell you, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this, you don't need that, and so forth. And I used to be one of those people, I'm not gonna lie. Like, you know, you buying clothes, you buying this, and you buying that. And I had to get out of that way of thinking. Like, that is probably the reason why I was unhappy. Yeah, I had savings, I had money in the bank, I bought my house, I was, you know, doing great. But inside, I was not happy. I was not happy. Like, And it's not to say forget about your responsibilities and just do things that make you happy. But now I know how to marry the two to where I can have a great time and still be financially secure. So I just said a lot, probably too much. But anyway, you guys know I love you and I love to talk to you. So like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section and I'll be more than happy to answer those. But until then, I'll see you in the next video. Go be great, besties.
Just pulled up to the house, don't feel like getting out. I'ma just lay back